Hi there, welcome back to 52 Weeks of Vlogging. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, and this is Popcorn and Coffee with Shadowhunters. Let's talk City of Bones. The film, of course, was called The Mortal Instruments, but first let's talk about the book written by Cassandra Clare, done in my false British accent, because that's how I roll when I'm doing Shadowhunter talk. I loved this book. I was desperate for the film to come out. I picked this book up in the bookstore one day on assignment for my Writing for Children class. I was supposed to write beginnings, so I thought the best way to do that was to read a bazillion beginnings. So I pulled a bunch of books off the shelves, and this was one of them. And though I intended only to read the first chapter, I actually got to chapter 5 before I realized what I was doing and put the book down. That was that good. The setting was fantastic. The characters were brilliantly written. I loved the originality of the idea, and I loved the complex relationships between the characters. The way Cassandra Clare just did not leave them alone. She would not let them be happy, poor things. Excellent. And if that hasn't sold you, just listen to this. Chapter 1, Pandemonium, read in my normal American accent because this book is set in New York and the character is American. "You've got to be kidding me," the bouncer said, folding his arms across his massive chest. He stared down at the boy in the red zip-up jacket and shook his shaved head. "You can't bring that thing in here." The 50 or so teenagers in line outside the Pandemonium Club leaned forward to eavesdrop. It was a long wait to get into the all-ages club, especially on a Sunday, and not much generally happened in line. The bouncers were fierce and would come down instantly on anyone who looked like they were going to start trouble. 15-year-old Clary Frey, standing in line with her best friend Simon, leaned forward along with everyone else, hoping for some excitement. "Aw, come on," the kid hoisted the thing up over his head. It looked like a wooden beam pointed at one end. "It's part of my costume." The bouncer raised an eyebrow. "Which is what?" The boy grinned. He was normal enough looking, Clary thought, for Pandemonium. He had electric blue dyed hair that stuck up around his head like the tendrils of a startled octopus, but no elaborate facial tattoos or big metal bars through his ears or lips. "I'm a vampire hunter." He pushed down on the wooden thing. It bent as easily as a blade of grass bending sideways. "It's fake. Foam rubber, see?" The boy's wide eyes were way too bright a green, Clary noticed. The color of antifreeze, spring grass. Colored contact lenses, probably. The bouncer shrugged, abruptly bored. "Whatever. Go on in." The boy slid past him, quick as an eel. Clary liked the lilt to his shoulders, the way he tossed his hair as he went. There was a word for him that her mother would have used. Insouciant. "You thought he was cute," said Simon, sounding resigned. "Didn't you?" Clary dug her elbow into his ribs, but didn't answer. Already back to my British accent, and already we have complicated relationships between Clary and Simon, who clearly have something complicated going on, at least one of them wishes they did, and also a character who's rather intriguing, and I dare say about to cause some trouble, which he does, but I won't tell you what it is in case you haven't read the book. And if you have read the book, you already know all this, and you already know why I loved it so much, and if you haven't, good Lord, crawl out from under that rock you've been under and get your hands on this book. But to the film. Does the film live up to expectation? First, the good. Effects. Fantastic. I loved the special effects in this film. The Mortal Instruments special effects were akin to, I don't know, not quite Lord of the Rings, simply because there was nothing on that grand scale, but really good. Like, they were really flipping good, all right? Just trust me. I was sitting there leaping out of my seat every time a demon or a raven or any of those things, evil things, appeared out of nowhere, which they did frequently throughout this film. I gasped in my seat, literally, like I was sitting there like this, eating my popcorn and my cheeseburger, going, every single time, I tell you. It was brilliant. I hate horror films, but I love those films that make me jump out of my seat with shock. So the effects were A+++. Also, casting. Now I'm going to complain a little bit because I didn't like some of the casting. I didn't think Clary's mum was so fantastically well cast, but the bloke playing Luke did a pretty good job, and the girl playing Clary did a brilliant job, which I know, teenagers who can actually act. What a concept! Additionally, the boy who played Jace was brilliant. He had Jace down to a T, as did the girl playing Izzy. Which is unfortunate because this brings us to the bad, which is also the casting, which hello, Jace was not tall and thin, and Alec was not short and stocky, and Isabel, yes, you got tall, but waif-like? I don't think so. That girl had muscles. And okay, well, fine, she needed muscles, but you know, give us a little bit of the illusion here. Let us believe that the rune things actually do things, because honestly, waif-like, not at all. And no, I'm not standing here telling you that I think all girls in film and television should be waif-like, but if a character is described that way, well, then maybe think about it. The physical discrepancy between the characters and the actors was really, really distracting. Also in the good but also bad category, we have all those deviations from the plot of the book. Yes, I think some deviation is absolutely necessary when taking a book and turning it into a film, because video is a completely different medium and it's a completely different way of storytelling, and it just, you know, you can't have certain things in books happen in films. Sometimes this is a storytelling issue, and also sometimes it's just a physical nature of like having an actual set type of issue. You know, you can't build certain types of sets, you know, certain things you just can't make happen, either for budgetary reasons or just, you know, physics. And I completely understand this. And so, yes, I thought the beginning was fine. They fudged her birthday a little bit and whatnot, but that's okay. And some of the deviations were brilliantly handled. For example, even though the portal was not the portal in the book, Jace did some awesome things with it, and they deserve credit for that. However, the biggest deviation from the book is the ugly part, namely the Mortal Cup. The whole focus of the book and the film is keeping the Mortal Cup away from Valentine, who wants it so that he can control demons and do all sorts of evil things and wreak havoc upon the world. And let's just say this. Well, in the book, one thing happens to the Mortal Cup and it ends up in a certain person's hands, and in the film, something else happens to the Mortal Cup and it ends up in someone else's hands. Which, like, no. You can't change the end because the second book depends on it ending in a certain way. And if you want to do a second film, which, well, who knows, maybe they'll just postpone the second film, I don't even know. But no, you can't change the end and then go into the second film, because if it ends differently, then the person who has to do things to make the second book and therefore the second film even happen can't do the things, because they can't, because the ending is different. What the hell? Honestly, the ending of this film is what completely threw me. I thought it spoiled a lot of really good, hard work put in by the actors and the visual effects people and the sound people and the filming people and all of those people. They just, you know, took all that hard work and just like scrubbed it round in a big bin full of trash and rubbish and then just flushed it all down the toilet, because really, what were they thinking? I don't know. Have you seen the film? If you've seen The Mortal Instruments, I would love to hear your thoughts. Put them in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you like my films and want to see more, you can subscribe at youtube.com/user/IshtaVlogs. Thanks again for watching. The American me will see you tomorrow.